across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Good evening and welcome to the Political Asylum right here on Talk. I'm Kevin O'Sullivan and I'll be your host for the next 3 thrilling hours of news, views and topical debate all the way to 10 o'clock. Get involved, get stuck in, get it off your chest and call me on 03444 499 1000, or you can WhatsApp voice note me on the same number and I promise to play your message out. That's 0344 499 1000. Get on the phone, let's talk. It's good to talk on Talk. It is Friday, July the 25th. Here's what's coming up. Remember the scandal when it emerged that Portsmouth City Council organised a shameful cover-up of the fact that the man accused of raping a local woman was a resident at the seaside area's Asylum Seeker Hotel. After a formal complaint, the council's chief executive was put under investigation for allegedly keeping secret from the public a matter that they had a right to know. The public had a right to know this. Well, you'll be pleased to know that having marked its own homework, the council has cleared itself and decided that the complaint against the chief executive, and I quote, doesn't reach the threshold to justify a disciplinary hearing. And with that, these town hall tyrants think they've put the entire sordid saga to bed. But have they? Are you happy about this? 0344 499 1000. All over the country, similar veils of secrecy are being thrown over the soaring number of asylum seekers with serious crimes, including sex offences, being charged, asylum seekers being charged with serious crimes, including sex offences. There are even suggestions that instead of recording the migrant hotels where the accused are staying, the police write no fixed address. This institutional economy with the truth is because the government fears that if the public find out they're effectively being lied to, they will erupt in fury. How do you like being treated like naughty children? 0344 499 1000. Meanwhile, peaceful protests are planned outside 3 South Coast asylum seeker hotels tonight, and there's already one underway in Ashfield, Lee Anderson's constituency, where an asylum seeker has been charged with the rape of a local woman. So you can see a picture emerging there, can't you? Now, there will also be another demonstration set to unfold in Epping on Sunday. I'm far from the first to say it, but there's a sense that Britain is on the brink of mass civil disobedience. People are mad as hell and they're not going to take this anymore. In other news, steel barriers have been erected around London's latest migrant hostel, the £425 a night Britannia International Hotel in upmarket Canary Wharf, and still Starmer has yet to say a word about the tinderbox tension gripping this angry nation. 0344 499 1000. Also tonight, the resident doctors' strike is underway and patients will die as a result of these £100,000 a year militant medics walking out. 50,000 disgraces to their profession standing on the picket line while their patients suffer. Do you have any sympathy for them? 0344 499 1000. And in an hour or so, we'll take a look at Donald Trump's impending private visit to Scotland to open his new golf course. And we'll take a deep dive into the president's growing scorecard of problems as he battles even his own MAGA supporters over the Epstein files and his U-turn decision not to release them. Despite the personal nature of his transatlantic trip, a rare thing for a sitting president, Trump will be meeting Keir Starmer and Scottish First Minister John Swinney. Doubtless high on their agenda, Emmanuel Macron's decision that France will from now on recognise Palestine as a state, even though it's not a state. Starmer, of course, is being urged to follow suit. Should he? 03444991000. Tell you what, old Donald Trump won't like that very much at all. So, all that and so much more. So don't go anywhere. Stick with me right here, right now on Talk, the home of free speech and common sense. Let's spend Friday night together. And it being Friday, of course, my Friday friend, political strategist Pete Barnes is in the studio. Hi, Pete.
Hi, Kev. How's it going?
All right. Lots to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
Now, as I said in my monologue, you know, nobody wants this to happen, but there are a lot of protests planned tonight. One in Ashfield. We gather that the atmosphere there is already pretty tense. Ashfield is where Lee Anderson broke ranks. He's the Reform UK local MP, of course. He broke ranks this week because the local police apparently advised him, so don't mention that this rape was, that the person accused of this rape was an asylum seeker, because that will inflame tension. You know, that will be incendiary. And people all over the country are being told this.
Yeah.
It was also told that it could prejudice his trial.
Oh, that line.
That's not true. Yeah. That is legally baseless. It's absolutely not true. It won't. You're allowed in law, under law, British law. I know this. Journalists learn this first week in journalism college. You can name, for me that was quite a long time ago, but I haven't forgotten. You can, of course, name the accused, the charged. Once someone is charged, you can name them. You can say their age, and you can say their address, and you can say their profession. So when the police or the authorities go, oh, you can't say this in prejudice trial, it's a pile of claptrap. And Lee Anderson has just broken ranks and said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So he has gone public with this and said, an asylum seeker in my constituency is accused of a very serious, violent rape in my area, and I'm not going to stay silent about it. He said, you know, this government is importing, you know, thousands of young, mostly male foreigners of sexually active age, and they are committing a litany, or they're being charged with an increasing litany of serious crimes, including sex offences. So a protest has gathered in Ashfield, and we gather, as I say, the atmosphere there is pretty tense. Also, down in Portsmouth, a demonstration is brewing, or is happening, outside the Royal Beach Hotel, which is where an asylum seeker was accused, or stands accused. He's been charged with the rape of a local woman. Now, when that happened, that was back in, I think, on June the 11th. The local council, allegedly, I suppose I'd better say, organised a cover-up. The chief executive of that council was accused by a councillor of telling councillors and council staff, anyone who might have an interest in this, not to go public. By all means mention the rape, but don't, for God's sake, mention that the man accused of that rape, the man charged with that rape, is a resident at the local asylum seeker hotel. In other words, it's like, oh, you can't tell the public that. Because they'll erupt. It's incendiary. So this is going on all over the country. We know there's a similar case in Manchester. There's a similar case in London. So these asylum seekers, these migrants, these illegal migrants who are staying at our expense at these luxury hotels, some of them are, at least hundreds of them, being accused, charged with serious crimes, and a fair few of those serious crimes are sexual assaults. And that is a recipe for disaster. The people won't put up with this. And so far, the authorities' technique is to try to keep it a secret from us. That isn't going to work. That's why you've got all these protests going on. And the atmosphere, as I say, is febrile. It's a disgrace, isn't it?
It's absolutely shocking. But the thing that really concerns me most is the incident in Portsmouth with this cover-up.
Yeah.
Because what this shows is that the establishment hasn't hasn't learned anything and is doing its best to cover its own back, not get to the truth, not try to fix this thing. So we've got this big rape gangs inquiry coming up. I think that's going to be a complete whitewash. The establishment is going to do its absolute best to cover itself. It doesn't care about finding the truth. It doesn't care about, you know, the victims of any of this stuff. It's all about their protection and protecting themselves in power. It is absolutely rotten to the core. And this idea of keeping it secret, how moronic can you get? This is why we're in the mess. You moved people into an area, you didn't tell anybody, you don't know who these people are, an incident happens, and you're suddenly surprised that the local residents are up in arms about it. You're either moronic or you're doing it deliberately.
And lest we forget this kind of technique of keeping everything secret, this emanates from our dear leader, Keir Starmer, who kept all the details and the facts secret up in Southport this time last year. I think councils like Portsmouth are taking their lead from what the Prime Minister did. You cannot, this is a democracy. This is a Western democracy. You can't treat the public like this. You can't keep secrets. There has to be transparency. We have a right to know about our justice system. We have a right to know who's charged with what. This is justice not only being done, it's being seen to be done. That's a sacred principle. These people are trying to screw that and keep everything secret from them, so that the details of what's been going on in Portsmouth, just to reiterate, a very violent rape of a local woman on June the 11th was the work, allegedly, of a resident at Southsea's asylum seeker accommodation centre, the Royal Beach Hotel, outside of which a demonstration is gathering as we speak. The chief executive of Portsmouth City Council, Natalie Brahma Pearl, crazy name, crazy woman, no, Natalie Brahma Pearl, was the subject of a formal complaint that she orchestrated the withholding of the details of this crime, warning councillors and council staff not to tell anyone about the shocking truth. But now the council's employment, this was a councillor lodged this complaint, but now the council's employment committee has quietly ruled that the serious allegations against Ms Brahma Pearl by Councillor George Madgwick, who I think spoke to Peter Cardwell earlier, do not reach, I quote, do not reach the threshold for a full disciplinary investigation. This stinks, doesn't it? This stinks. They're marking their own damn homework, and they're clearing themselves of this obvious cover-up, and they think this will put this issue to bed. Well, if we had a look at the Royal Beach Hotel right now, I think Ms Brahma Pearl and the luminaries at Portsmouth City Council are finding out they haven't put this to bed. This is classic. This is what they're doing. You know, this is trying to keep to put a veil over what's actually happening. Let's just no, there's no reason to investigate Ms Brahma Pearl. Let's move on. No. And this is a powder keg, folks. People are increasingly furious about this migrant crisis and the secrets the authorities are trying to keep. You know, we know that both the Sun and the Mail have launched or have undertaken long and thorough investigations. The Sun revealed that 339 in the first 6 months of this year, 339 asylum seekers around the country have been charged with serious crimes, 29 of them sex offences. Now, you know, as I say, these are all allegations, and they're charged because the cases haven't happened yet, the trials haven't happened, they're not found guilty yet. But you know, you go up to Epping, you know, why are the people of Epping rising up night after night after night? There's going to be a big protest apparently on Sunday there. It's because an Ethiopian asylum seeker, migrant, who was billeted at that hotel on the 29th of June, having arrived on a small boat illegally, promptly stands accused of allegedly attacking 3 local women, sexually assaulting. Now, the fact of the matter is that 3 local women were sexually assaulted. This Ethiopian denies the charge that he did this. So you see what I'm saying? So he denies it. We have to say that. He was in Chelmsford Crown Court, I think this time last week, and remains in custody. But that's why that community is outraged. That's why other communities, that's why Ashfield, the people are outraged. Portsmouth, you know, these people we don't know anything about are being shipped in, imposed on unsuspecting communities, and some of them, not all of them, but some of them, you know, are committing the most horrendous crimes. And, you know, so far, Pete, we haven't had a single comment about all this from Starmer.
No, well, it doesn't surprise me at all. But the most perverse thing is, yet again, we're seeing Yvette Cooper, she's out there saying far-right activists, it's all agitation and all the rest of it. It's not. It is genuine, honest people.
It's dishonest of them.
It is. It is, yet again, they feel so comfortable to get up there and lie. That is the most disturbed bit of all of this.
Totally.
And, you know, it's like they just don't see it in front of them. Or they do, and they're just without an idea now. But again, it's not far-right. Though, yes, there might be a small minority.
Just as there are far left.
Just as there are far left. We see this at every single protest, you know, no matter what it is. These are honest people who are seeing their communities torn apart. They're being lied to, and you know, what do you? This is the thing. What do you expect is going to happen? Yeah. You know, it's like I said, it's moronic.
And look what Essex Police are doing, right? So the Chief Constable there, Ben Julian Harrington, who should be in big trouble for escorting masked left-wing thugs from the station, or his officers did, from the station to the heart of the protest outside the Bella Hotel, where there's about 100 asylum seekers, young men of sexually active age. His officers escorted these masked thugs right into the middle of the protest, the peaceful protest. Guess what? It then kicked off. Anyway, subsequent to this, I mean, this is what happens. Those demos in... we had a lady on from Epping the other night explaining those demos are mostly local people, mothers, fathers, grandparents, people worried about safety on the streets, people worried about safety for women, safety for kids. And one of the alleged sexual assaults involved a 14-year-old schoolgirl. 3 sexual assaults this guy is charged with committing within 2 days of arriving. So when you have these protests, local protests, there's a certain contingent, an element that cashes in. So right-wing thugs come in to cause trouble, and so do left-wing thugs. What's happened subsequent to that? The police have been busy raiding the right-wing or the people they say are right-wing thugs. Right-wingers, no left-wingers. So what they've done is they've raided and they've arrested all these far-right thugs. Oh, God, here we go again, eh? But for the left-wing thugs, they provide a loving escort from the station to the protest, and then when it gets a bit heavy, they provide a police taxi service to the left-wing masked thugs out of the trouble. Oh, get in the van, we'll ferry you away. I'm sensing, folks, this is two-tier policing. If you're left-wing, the police love you. If you're right-wing, they're down on you like a ton of bricks. What do you reckon? 0344 499 1000. Let's get it on. Back in a moment.
if you want to know what's really wrong with this country, fundamentally the decision was taken beginning in the 1960s to abolish the idea of personal responsibility, to explain all crime as some kind of reaction to bad social conditions or abuse or whatever it might be, and to cease to enforce law as law is to cease to get rid of the old concept of punishment. As it were, the working maxim of the prison system in this country used to be the due punishment of responsible persons.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. As I've said just before the break, clearly, you know, the police are already issuing statements. You are the full force of the law. If you cause trouble at these demonstrations, blah, 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 peaceful protests, but we'll. And they're releasing videos of them smashing into some poor guy's flat and arresting him and all this kind of stuff. These are all the right-wingers, of course. The left-wingers, no problem at all. As I say, the left-wingers get favouritism all the way from the cops, and it turns out that it's not only in Epping where they've been escorting their left-wing masked friends around. Down in Hampshire there's footage of them doing it as well. This gaggle of refugees welcome dorks heading for the local hotel full of illegal foreigners, flanked by all these coppers. If you're left wing, the coppers seem to love you. It's like, and if you're right wing, they hate you. Or if you're someone who they think is right wing, the people that they think are right wing are concerned local residents protesting about their local migrant hotel. The police tend to think of them as far right thugs. Well, they're not. They're local people a bit worried about the fact there may be sexual criminals living among them. That's what they're worried about. You know, they're not far-right thugs. It's a disgrace. And as we said before the break, Pete, they did it last year. It looks like they're going to do it a year. The abject dishonesty of these politicians who won't address what's really going on. People saying, we've had enough of this. We don't want these people in our community. This asylum seeker problem is massive, you know. They won't address that. They just go, far-right thugs, causing trouble, far-right thugs, lock them up, and the police are already threatening to lock everybody up. So it looks to me as if we've got the makings of, obviously there's trouble brewing. We're hearing, by the way, got a text from one of our fabulous audience members, AD, down in Bournemouth. He says it's kicking off in Bournemouth outside the Chine Hotel. This is one of the asylum seeker hotels that was slated for a demonstration tonight. AD said it's already kicking off. And these are people worried about these foreigners these foreigners in their midst, about whom they know nothing, and yet our politicians will start talking about far-right thugs. The dishonesty of the way Labour approached it last summer is repeating itself. As I said last night, this is like a repeat of the rancid movie you didn't enjoy last summer. Yeah,
pretty much. But it's because for so long they've just been able to call somebody a racist or this, and then that was it.
Racist.
That's what they've done for so long, and you know they've just been able to box people off, and you know they've never had to deal with it. Now communities are suddenly realising that what is happening, and there's evidence to back it up. There are communities are being torn apart, and so they're taking it into their own hands because, like you say, I think the police are basically protecting every left-winger going. Let's not forget we had one officer who said, "Oh, those books look a bit Brexity," you know, when he raided somebody's home.
Yeah, he had a copy of the Spectator, which they said was suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insanity. But the police have always got this wrong because they keep thinking it's their job to defend the right to protest. It's not. You know, it's their job to protect what's called the King's Peace, or just like making sure that they've got it fundamentally wrong.
That's exactly what they said. That when B.J. Harrington and his Rozzers came in under fire for escorting masked left-wing agitators, violent left-wing thugs, into the middle of that protest. Obviously a recipe for trouble if ever there was one, and indeed there was trouble. example, they said, "Oh, I'm afraid it's our duty to facilitate the right to public process."
It's not.
Well, you could say that sometimes, but here, the preeminent duty of the police is to keep the peace. And call me controversial, but I would say escorting far-right agitator masked thugs into the middle of a protest, that's not keeping the peace. That's kind of the opposite, isn't it?
For me, I think if you really want to transform this country, it starts with firing the head of every police force.
Particularly, let's start with BJ Harrington.
But then also, if you look here in London, you've had the hate marches of this Palestine mob just chanting every anti-Semitic trope you can find, but that's perfectly fine.
No.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
I've been to these marches. The police favour the pro-Palestine, and they are against the pro-Israel. Our police force is like institutionally left-wing now, and that is a problem. They should perform their duties without fear or favour, and no favouritism at all. Let's quickly cover a couple of other elements of our escalating migrant hellhole crisis. As I say, the Britannia International Hotel is currently being shrouded in great big metal barriers, steel barriers, and dark windows, and they're moving in mattresses. So next week that'll be full of migrants as well. But the Sun has revealed, in terms of the migrant hotels around London, the Sun has today revealed that migrants, and they've established that these thieves, shoplifting gangs, are living at asylum seeker hotels. So the Sun, to its credit, they've monitored, they've watched them, they come from their hotels, they walk to Oxford Street, they've been raiding Prada, Gucci, John Lewis, all the top shops, and brazenly staging these shoplifting raids, and then shuffling back with their ill-gotten wares, the stuff they've nicked, to their taxpayer-funded hotels, and nothing happens to them. This is out of control.
Yeah, it says something, doesn't it, when it's down to a newspaper that does a better job of patrolling the actual hotel to make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing than the people that we're paying billions of pounds to every year to make sure that these places are being policed properly. It's ridiculous at this point. But again, it is this reality that that the Labour Party and the left are coming to, they're being hit with it pretty hard, and they can't fight. They don't know how to tackle this problem at all because they spent so long apologising for it.
I know how to tackle it. Start turning the boats around in the middle of the channel. Then all the trouble would dissipate, but they won't do that, will they? We got some. I think we got a little bit of footage of what's happening in Southampton. Look, here we go. So there's a gathering outside their hotel there. This is the Highfield House Hotel, that's in Southampton. So you can see there, it looks peaceful at the moment. And I would say, we can't see the sort of panorama of the situation. I would say it doesn't look like a massive amount of people there, but we're hearing it in Bournemouth. It's really kicking off, and the tension is high in Ashfield. We hope that these demonstrations don't kick off, but there is a feeling, with all this going on, that we are on the edge, we are on the brink. Now, let me explain to you another aspect of this crisis. You know that these big food delivery companies, Uber Eats, Deliveroo, Just Eat, they've been hiring or using illegal migrants. And none of them have been in any trouble at all. And the reason for that is that they are gig economy companies, so they aren't legally required to carry out right-to-work checks. So these huge companies have yet to be fined a penny for clearly sort of breaking the law on a massive basis. Just hiring. Apparently, some of these migrants turn up on a small boat. They're sort of processed, and they're put into some migrant hotel, asylum seeker hotel, within a day or two. And almost immediately, so within 48 hours of arriving on a small boat, they're on bicycles delivering food. illegally. So anyway, they don't get any problems at all. Meanwhile, small businesses who inadvertently hire illegal migrants, they're getting stung big time. And after the break, we're going to talk to a poor guy who runs the Big Fry fish and chip shop in Surrey, in Egham, nice town. And he hired a foreigner, not knowing he was illegal, because he produced fake documents, including a national insurance number, student loan paperwork, and a photocopied passport. And that poor guy's just been hit with a £40,000 fine. So small businesses are getting slammed. The massive businesses are getting off scot-free. We're going to talk to the fish and chip shop owner, Mark Sullivan, after the break. Stay tuned.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. Now, as I said before the break, while the big businesses who've been hiring illegal migrants, asylum seekers, illegally, and using them as Deliveroo drivers, Uber Eats drivers, Just Eat drivers, I say drivers, riders. They haven't really been fined at all, yet to be punished at all. There have been meetings, negotiations with the government, and that's because they're gig economy companies. They don't actually employ these people. I mean, I guess they're kind of freelancers in a way, so they've got off pretty much scot-free, while small businesses who get caught for this kind of thing can really catch some problems, some massive fines being hit on them. And I feel very, very sorry for our next guest, who is Mark Sullivan, and he runs the fish and chip shop in Egham in Surrey, and he joins us now. Welcome, Mark.
Yeah, hi Kevin, thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you for joining us. Now, as I understand it, you hired a guy, a foreigner, who presented you with all the documents, everything that was required legally, and so therefore he started working for you. And then he was arrested, or you were raided, and they found out. They said this guy is illegal, and you said no. He showed me all the documents. Oh well, those documents are fake, so therefore they've hit you, a small business owner, with a £40,000 fine. I believe because you've complained so much, they've reduced that to £28,000. But that's a hell of a fine for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's business changing. But I will just say one thing: the £28,000 was because I paid the fine within a certain amount of time.
Oh, okay. A bit like a parking fine, you mean? If you pay...
Yeah, if you pay it early, you it's a reduced amount.
Right.
But I feel very strongly about this, especially with, as you've mentioned, what's going on with the big companies. There's always been a two-tier system in government. Against the small businesses are to me, the lifeblood of the economy. It's where it all starts. Small businesses thrive, and they're just killing us. They're absolutely killing us. And you know, the thing that hurts me the most is we see these illegal immigrants coming into our businesses and picking up food for these companies. And it just rubs salt into the wounds.
Yeah.
How this has even happened.
I shouldn't really make jokes considering this story, but I'm tempted to say salt and vinegar into the wounds, if you know what I mean. So have you managed to carry on with your fish and chip shop, Mark?
Yeah, well, we're continuing. I mean,
Big Fry Fish and Chips in Egham, Surrey.
Yeah, that's correct. We've got 2 branches, one in Egham, one in Farnborough, but it has really hit our cash flow.
Yeah.
It's really caused us, difficulties. And I just feel so strongly about it because we were really guilty from the second they took it. They were very aggressive with us. They gave us no real right to defend ourselves.
Sorry, Mark, sorry to interrupt. Just tell us how long ago did you hire this guy?
He was hired in February 23.
And did the authorities, the immigration people, did they actually raid your shop?
Yeah, they did. They did it on the 2nd of March this year.
So how many turned up?
Well, I'm not quite sure. There's a lot of people because there was a load came in the front of the shop and some were at the back of the shop.
So like on the telly sort of thing.
Yeah. It left. We had a part-time young girl working for us there, and she was absolutely terrified. I was actually on the first day of my holiday, and I got a phone call from them, and they were so aggressive. They were asking me questions, and I just said, "Well, I can't answer those questions because I'm on holiday," and they just accused me of not wanting to cooperate. So literally, I had to come back after one day of my holiday.
Just again, sorry, but look, I mean, this guy, where was he from, by the way?
Well, originally he was from Ghana, but this passport we had, it was a UK passport. The problem was that my manager of 13 years. I mean, we employ quite a few, foreign national students, and we know the system of how to work. But what happened here is he claimed that his passport was in the post, so he bought a photocopy.
I saw a photocopy. Yeah,
and when it came to our head office, I wasn't aware that we hadn't taken that photocopy. It was handed to us. I wasn't aware of that. So when we were raided, I was 100% confident there was no problem here because we had all the documentation. It wasn't until I got the £40,000 fine that I spoke to my manager and said, "Well, you took a photocopy of the passport," and he went, "No, I didn't. I accepted a photocopy." So from that point of view, we did make a mistake. But
that's to my mind. I mean, this guy, in quite a sophisticated way, conned your manager. So they didn't have any sympathy for the fact that you had been conned by a guy.
I was the criminal here. And that's how I was treated. But this man was already working in the UK. He had a bank account. He had housing benefits from Spelthorne Borough Council. We got an application to pay his student loan back, and we got another payment to pay his housing benefits because he was on arrears. So there was no red flags that say this man was illegal. None at all for us.
How do you feel about the fact, Mark, that the big companies, they call them gig economy firms, so they hire sort of freelance type people who aren't actually employees, the big ones, Deliveroo, Uber Eats, Just Eat. How do you feel about the fact that they cannot be fined at the moment? They're not required to carry out right-to-work checks. So you're a small company and you are required to carry those out, but they're not. And therefore you get fined and Uber Eats and the gang don't. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's ridiculous. And that's what set this off. As I saw an article in a well-established newspaper saying about the Home Office had called them into a meeting and basically rapped their knuckles and told them to get their house in order. So that's how I contacted the newspaper, the national newspaper, and this all sort of started off and become a bit, because I'm outraged by it. It's not fair. You know, we're VAT collectors for the government, and now we've got to be immigration enforcement.
Exactly right. So between July 24 and March 25, so essentially sort of the past year, 1,508 civil penalty notices were issued, all to small businesses, none to the delivery giants.
Huh.
Let me just read out what Craig Bowman said. He's the Federation of Small Businesses spokesperson. He said, small employers take their responsibilities seriously, but they are not immigration officers, as you were just saying, Mark. The system must treat genuine mistakes proportionately, not punish firms with fines large enough to wipe them out. Yeah, that's it. You know, that you're obviously an honest guy, and they treated you like a mafia don or something.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. It was like the amount of people they sent down to the shop was like we were running the sweatshops full of illegal immigrants.
Yeah,
you know, it's just not true, and I feel very strongly about this, and that's why I'm not letting it go. I'm going to take. I've obviously been talking to the Federation of Small Businesses. I asked my MP to get involved, but she couldn't do a lot. They've just said that I'm criminal. I've not done my due diligence, and I deserve the fine.
Well, I don't think you do. I don't think you do, and I think it's a disgrace that the big companies.
Can I say something about?
Yeah, please do, mate. Go ahead.
Because people should know what our Home Office is all about. Because in the statement they sent, they said that they had a signed statement from him saying that we knew that he was illegal, that I knew personally that he was illegal. We managed to get a quick word with it, and he said that in the meeting he had straight after he was picked up, that they were bullying him and coercing him to say that I knew. They asked him if he was being paid under the table, and he produced his pay slips and showed them. So basically, they were trying to get a statement off of it to give me liability. You know, and I think if that's how our Immigration and Home Office are going to act, it's an absolute disgrace.
And are you battling to get this fine rescinded, get your money back?
They won't talk to me. They won't. They just said that's it. You know, I asked the Federation of Small Business to see if they can get me some sort of contact or a meeting because these immigration officers were bullying him to say that I knew. And I've employed thousands of people in my time in many businesses that I've had. Never once have I employed an illegal immigrant. Never once would I.
This is typical. It's another example of two-tier Britain, isn't it?
Two-tier Britain, yeah.
Yeah. As a citizen of this country, Mark, how do you feel about this escalating migrant crisis? It's really spiralling out of control, isn't it?
It's completely out of control. We've got to look after our own. I mean, I know there are families that need helping, but these are like the majority of them seem to be young males coming over.
Yeah,
they're the ones that are working. They're the ones that are causing all the trouble. They're the ones you look online. You can see videos of crime and they're stealing out of supermarkets and shops, small businesses again. You know, the victim all the way along here, and the government do not care.
They don't care. Listen, Mark, gonna have to move on now, but we'll keep in touch with you and let us know how you get on, will you? That's Mark Sullivan, owner of the. Let's get this right because he deserves a little shout out. The Big Fry Fish and Chip Shop in Egham in Surrey. I think he's been very unfairly fined there, but this is it. Two-tier Britain. Pick on the small guy, be scared of the big guy. So. You know, these huge companies, we know they've been hiring these asylum seekers, these migrants, illegal migrants, within hours sometimes of them arriving illegally on small boats. Thousands of them. Not a single penny have they been fined. Whereas you've got a little guy like Mark, I mean, not a little physically, but a little business guy like Mark, 40,000 quid. And he got away with 28,000 because he paid it fast. Don't you think he deserves his money back? This is all wrong, isn't it? 03444991000. When we come back after the break, we're going to talk about the other big story of the day. Of course, the resident doctors went on strike today for 5 days, and in that process, they're going to kill patients, aren't they? Well, I find it mind-boggling that we allow frontline medical workers to walk out and condemn patients to death. It's just extraordinary, extraordinary. And by the way, these strikers, we'll show you one of them after the break, they're on £100,000 a year. They won't tell you how much they earn a year. We'll show you this. They'll only talk about how much they earn an hour, as if they were on some sort of factory production line. You know, if you go to see your GP, would you say to them, how much do you earn an hour then? What's your hourly rate? It's rubbish, isn't it? They won't tell you. They're only talking in terms of how much they earn an hour, because they know that if it was revealed they're all on £100,000 a year or more, the little well of public sympathy they have right now would dry out completely. But actually, they've lost the room. The public are furious about this, and the government finds itself in the uncomfortable position of being a Labour government at war with striking workers withdrawing their labour on a picket line. If there's any solace to be taken from this grim situation, it is that we can laugh at Keir and Wes, who are squirming because they're like Tories fighting workers now, and they hate it. We'll talk about that after the break. Stay tuned.
If you want to know what's really wrong with this country, fundamentally the decision was taken beginning in the 1960s to abolish the idea of personal responsibility, to explain all crime as some kind of reaction to bad social conditions or abuse or whatever it might be, and to cease to enforce law as law is to cease to get rid of the old concept of punishment. As it were, the working maxim of the prison system in this country used to be the due punishment of responsible persons.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. So yes, the resident doctors, they used to be called junior doctors, but considering some of them are about 50, they decided that was a bit of a silly name, so now they call themselves resident doctors. Where are they resident? Not in hospitals. They've all walked out. 50,000 of them. Disgraces to their profession, if you ask me, because they're condemning patients to death. Ask any doctor. Renee Hunderkamp, GP, was in here last night. I said, is it going to kill patients? She said, oh, 100%, no doubt about it. It stands to reason. When the doctors aren't there, I mean, OK, they've got cover, but not enough. So consultants are coming in. They're charging £4,000 a day, £4,000 a day to cover for these striking doctors. But there's not enough of them. So you've got a very reduced service, and people will die because of it. And if you doubt that, you have to look at the statistics about what happens at the weekend. So patients are statistically much more likely to die in hospital at the weekends because there's fewer doctors there. So what we've got now for the next 5 days is weekend conditions. Patients will die, and there will be a knock-on effect. In 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, you're going to find more patients will have died because of these 5 days when the right treatment wasn't available to them. So these doctors who got a 28.9% pay rise at the beginning of Labour's sucker regime, gullible idiots. We told West Street and we all said, you give them their 28.9% now, they'll be back pretty damn soon demanding more. But naive West wouldn't have. We're Labour. We're friendly with the workers. So guess what? 28.9% as part of his root and branch NHS reforms. How's that going, Wes? And they're now back demanding another 29.2% pay rise. It's obscene. It's obscene. Anyway, this morning, as they staged their picket lines at the start of the day, at the start of their walkout, Mike Graham spoke to someone called Melissa Ryan. Melissa is the co-chair. I think I've got this here. Hold on. Yes, she is the Resident Doctors Committee co-chair. She's one of their lofty spokespeople. She's a hopeless idiot. That's a bit of a problem, I think. Anyway, have a look at this.
Where were you a doctor in 2008?
How is that relevant?
Well, because you say you want the pay restored to 2008 levels, but I don't believe you were a doctor in 2008. Were you?
So 2008 is when austerity came in line. It's when our pay started being eroded.
Were you a doctor in 2008? Were you a doctor in 2008?
We've had 17 years of pay erosion. And
were you a doctor in 2008?
To be reversed. It's not relevant about what happens with doctors.
You're asking
when they
to
come
have
in.
your
It's a
pay
very
restored to a time when you were a
training
child.
Program.
How about you get your pocket money in 2008? How much was that? I mean, you're just not a credible individual.
It's been eroded over 17 years, and what we want is for our pay erosion to be reversed. That's all we're asking for. We're asking for the government to come and negotiate, and so far all they've given us is empty
I'm not
promises,
surprised they're not negotiating with you, because you're insane. No, I don't think they should negotiate with you. I think they should fire you, quite frankly.
There's also his other line of questioning. These guys, these people, her and the gang. I mean, what an idiot! Don't go running away with the idea doctors are clever. Loads of them aren't. They're stupid like her. So Mike was earlier asking, so well, how much do you earn then? She goes, around £14 an hour. We want £17. She said, no, not an hour. How much do you earn a year? £15 an hour. Yeah, but how much do you earn a year? And she wouldn't answer. And do you want to know why she wouldn't answer how much she earns a year? Because she earns more than £100,000. Do you sympathise with people who've walked out on strike because they're earning £100,000 a year and they want 29% extra? Do you sympathise with them? Do you earn £100,000 a year? And if so, would you walk out on strike for more money? That's what they're doing. These people are swimming in money. They're militant medics. They are striking just because they enjoy it. Am I right, Pete?
Oh, yeah, definitely. They say, oh, well, we don't want to strike. Lie. Complete lie. But to be under no doubt, the BMA is holding this country ransom. But it's important to remember that the Labour Party gave them the gun because they've cheerleaded this mob on while for years in opposition, pushing and pushing and pushing, encouraging this nonsense. And now they're in government, again, reality has hit them round the head. head. But it is absolutely perverse for this lot to demand more money. I think it's the COVID kind of everybody clapping for them has gone right to their heads.
Yeah, but what's happening now, and also their previous strikes, particularly under the Tories, people beep 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 beep. Yeah, they loved all that. Well, there's not a lot of public sympathy for them this time, and in fact, credit to a great many doctors, they've refused to join this dispute. It's just. These are people who enjoy, as you say, they're militants and they enjoy industrial action, and fine if you're a plumber or aircraft constructor or whatever, fine. Well, I don't think it's that great, but no problem. You can do it. That's your legal right. But if when you strike people die. And that's what happens when doctors go on strike. And you're just doing it because you enjoy it. To hell with you. To hell with you. René Hundekamp last night said these people are evil.
Yeah, the strikes have been named in coroner's reports about people's deaths. They directly cause people's deaths. But it's also important to note that the cost of these strikes is in the billions. It's not just free, and then the amount that we have to spend on agency nurses to replace people, which we don't ever get the proper percentage of people on the wards, to make sure patient safety is there. Like you're saying, that they are actively killing people, and it's about time that they were held publicly responsible for this.
It's such a disgrace.
It is. And again, it's this hiding behind, we're doing this for the NHS, we're doing this for the nation. Yeah. They're not. They're doing it for themselves. And it is greed.
And poor little Wes, who made a massive mistake, very naive. Here's 29%. You won't come back for more, will you? No. Of course we won't, Wes. Oh yeah, well they did. It's such a bunch of gullible idiots. We're Labour. Workers like us. They couldn't give a damn if you're Labour. Anyway, he's whining about these doctors showing an alarming lack of concern for their patients. He's also saying that they should be made to feel pain for this industrial action. So there you go. You've got Labour ministers, Secretary of States now actually actively at war with striking workers. That's very uncomfortable for them. And then old two-tier, Keir, puts his oar in, and of course it is a bizarre pile of gobbledygook. He says that these striking doctors, and I quote, will help those who want the NHS to fail. Keir, no one wants the NHS to fail. What the hell are you talking about? The problem is the NHS is failing, it has failed, and you lot in Labour are making it even worse, right?
Yeah, again, the data doesn't lie. It has got progressively worse under the Labour Party. But again, these lot, they cheerleaded all of this nonsense on because, if you remember, it's interesting for Starmer because he suspended many people from the Labour Party when they were in opposition, when they appeared on the picket lines.
Yeah.
So he's all over the place with this stuff because yet again he says one thing to one group, he says one thing to another, and eventually it all comes around and catches him up.
Yeah, we take no pleasure in this strike because, as we say, people are dying because of it. But what little solace you can take from it is seeing this Labour government squirming. Now they are cast as the evil right-wing tyrants fighting the poor workers. Ha ha ha! That is funny. But we hope that this strike can be solved very soon because we don't want people to die. These doctors don't care, but we do. Now, after the break, Greg Swenson will join us about Trump's trip to Scotland. You don't want to miss that. Stay tuned.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. First things first, the most important thing I had to tell you in 1 hour, about 9 o'clock, not about 9 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, my show, What Just Happened. What Just Happened? That starts at 9 and goes on until 10. If you're watching on YouTube or you're watching the Talks channel, you can just carry on watching. If you're listening on the radio, don't worry, it's radio friendly. So hope you enjoy that. So we'll play you a little clip of what's to come in about half an hour. So that first. Also, by the way, Greg Swenson, our friend from the Republican Overseas Organisation, is in the studio. Do you like grits?
No.
Thanks.
Disgusting.
Yeah. No, it's just that my show tonight, we did a sort of grits special. Because I sort of mentioned that I was once in Mississippi.
It's a southern thing, yeah.
Yeah, I was in Mississippi.
I grew up in the north.
Yeah,
so.
I was in Mississippi, and I ordered, scrambled egg and sausage or something, and the grits just turned up with it. And I said, what the hell is that? It says grits. Everybody loves them. Yeah, I think it might have been the nastiest thing I've ever eaten in my life. So I made some, and we ate them on the show. So it's a grits special tonight, folks. But anyway, before we talk to you, Greg, about Trump's visit, we're just looking at the airport now. Big crowds, or wherever that is, waiting for him to arrive. I don't know if he's touched down yet. Just going to show you some footage that we're receiving from all over the country. I think this is in Southampton. These are the protests outside Asylum Seeker Hotel. So this is outside the hotel in Southampton. I've got the names here in a minute. That's in Ashfield. That's where Lee Anderson's constituency is. That's in Nottinghamshire. That's where Lee Anderson said that a local woman has allegedly been raped by an asylum seeker. Yeah, where is this one? That one's in Portsmouth. That's outside. That's quite big, isn't it? That's the South Sea Royal Beach Hotel, where another resident is alleged to have committed a rape on a local woman. Let's have a look what we've got. Yeah, the one in Southampton is the Highfield House Hotel. I think this one we're looking at is the Royal Beach Hotel in Southsea. The Chine Hotel in Bournemouth, apparently it's all happening there. So you can see that's Leeds. Blimey. I'm getting this information in my ear. I'm finding out about demonstrations that I didn't even know were happening. So there's a lot of tension in the air. And I guess we'll just keep you posted on it. No problems yet. Let's hope it stays that way. But as I say, it could build up to something. Certainly over this weekend, there may be more of this. People have had enough of this asylum seeker hotel situation. Demos all over the country. So as I say, stay tuned and we'll keep you posted, keep you updated about all developments. Right, back to you, Greg. Thanks for joining us. Now, tomorrow, is it? You're off to Scotland.
Yeah.
Where you're going to meet the American ambassador, aren't you? And maybe, just maybe, you might meet the man himself.
You never know. You never know.
I did ask you, did you bring them? I asked you to bring the Epstein files.
Yeah, they're out back. Yeah, too heavy to carry.
Well, look, first of all, let's. I mean, it's a very unusual thing for a sitting president to travel abroad anywhere on a private visit. He's got sort of skin in the Scottish game, as you well know, or you may know, that his mother, Mary Ann MacLeod, was born in 1912 in the Outer Hebrides island of Lewis. She emigrated in the Great Depression to America, where she married property developer Fred Trump, and the rest is history. He already owns the excellent Turnberry golf course up there, Old Donald, and he's opening a new one in Menny. Is that how you pronounce it? Menny? Menny? It's M-E-N-I-E. I'm sure I spelled that wrong. Or, no, I haven't spelled it wrong. I probably pronounced it wrong. It's in Aberdeenshire, so he's going to open this course. It's a private visit, personal visit, but he will be fitting in meetings with Keir Starmer, Scottish First Minister John Swinney, a couple of men who I don't think is necessarily on the same political side of the fence as. So that Swinney in particular will be interesting. He won't be. There was talk that he might meet the King, but he'll have to save that for his state visit, so the King won't be around. Naturally, protests are planned. Scotland's lefties will rudely greet him with some kind of protest. Before we get on to the obvious problems engulfing him back in the States to do with the Epstein files, something he will be talking to Swinney and particularly Keir Starmer, obviously, about Gaza, the increasing problems there. Ukraine, his bid to bring peace to Ukraine didn't go that well either. So they'll be on the agenda. But I think top of the agenda now will be this extraordinary move today, was it yesterday? Macron, France, has now officially recognised Palestine as a state, which is a bit of a problem because it isn't a state. The thing is, though, the woke liberal gang here are pressurising Starmer to do the same. I can see him following suit. Can you, Pete?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, there's 125 Labour MPs that have already backed a call for it. Given the fact that Keir Starmer is not in control of the government anymore, the backbenchers are. Let's be real. And, this is going to happen. It's an eventuality. But I can tell you now, the Foreign Office are going apoplectic. I've got a lot of friends that work there, and they don't want this to happen, but they know that they're powerless to stop this because Starmer isn't in control.
Yeah, he's at the dog the tail is wagging the dog.
Oh,
the tail is these left-wing backbenchers. But how will Trump react to this?
Not
Greg?
well, and you saw.
Not well. Understatement of the year.
Not well.
It's an idiotic move by Macron.
Oh yeah, well that goes without saying.
Exactly, and he's also suing Candace Owens, which is another story. But, look, Marco Rubio came out right away and just criticized it. No, didn't dress it up at all. He just said, this is completely absurd, effectively. So I think the president obviously will be on the same page as Marco Rubio. So this is a really bad idea.
Yeah.
And here he's trying to end the war and
it just inflames the situation, doesn't it?
It's why doesn't Macron say to Hamas, put down your arms and release the release your hostages?
It's classic Macron.
Exactly.
Got to signal his virtue, polish his halo.
And that's more important.
Aren't I wonderful? I've recognised Palestine as a state. How can you recognise as a state Palestine when it's not a state?
No, and it's also
that's ridiculous, isn't it? It's like saying I recognise Chingford as a state.
I know it's crazy, but like you said, the reaction to this for the British government is bizarre, considering the fact that Starmer is very much on the outs as it is anyway. We're not trusted anymore. We're not given any of the details. You'd think that they would try and do everything they could do to get back in the room. Starmer's just doing the complete opposite. Well, we shouldn't be surprised. Incompetence is a man's middle name, but
I think he's got an opportunity here with President Trump, and that's for all the criticisms I've had of Keir Starmer and this government, he's actually managed the relationship with Trump rather well. And I think I would also give credit to Peter Mandelson in Washington, the ambassador.
Must you?
Yeah,
I know that hurts. I know. Am I out now? I guess I'm not here till late. Not here till
Leave it to me and
9.
Pete. I've had enough of you.
So,
no, seriously. Yeah.
But,
Mandelson,
it's a difficult thing. They're obviously quite the opposite politically, and so you have a party of the left here and a party of the right in the U.S. And this is like a mirror image of 6 months ago when it was Biden, or a year ago when it was Biden in the White House and a so-called conservative government here, even though they governed like leftists. But yes, we'd prefer that it was both parties of the right, but that's not the way it is right now, and they've managed it well.
Just really quickly, it is interesting as well from the Israeli perspective, because Netanyahu basically called out Starmer as an anti-Semite and encouraging Hamas, and now he's going to go straight down this line. He's done nothing to manage that relationship at all. But I will agree with you, he's done very well with Trump, which has surprised a lot of us.
Well, yeah, because Trump was saying very nice things about him on the plane and everything like that. And of course, Trump you know, he's got a real spiritual connection with Scotland. He loves it up there because of his mum, you know. So, where is Donald standing on Gaza at the moment? It's still right four square behind Israel?
Yeah, without a doubt. And you know, that's not to say he's going to give a free pass to Netanyahu to do whatever he wants, but, you know, within reason. And he completely understands the right of Israel to defend themselves. He will help them defend themselves. He views this is not, you know, moral ambiguity here. The bad guys are Hamas. That's pretty simple.
Yes.
And he'll stick with that, right?
Yeah.
Instead of these clowns running around with their signs and their, you know, their handkerchiefs, you know, defending the indefensible, you know, Trump's going to be on the page. But that doesn't mean he likes war.
No, to be fair to Trump, he hates war.
He's an anti-war president. Defending yourself is one thing. And when you're forced to use military force, like he was to take out the Iranian nuclear capabilities, like he took out Soleimani in 2020, like he took out the Houthis, you know, without a lot of resistance, you know, that he will use force, but he doesn't like war, and I think that's pretty clear.
So they will talk about Gaza. They will talk about Ukraine.
Yeah. Trade. They'll talk about trade.
Well, trade, but I'm just sensing there may be some friction between Starmer and Trump in terms of both those countries, because Starmer is now, you know, four square, you know, stop the war, save the children, you know, Israel's the evil, and so on and so forth. And that's not Donald's stance. And also, Starmer is still four square behind sending billions of quid to Ukraine, whereas the people of Britain, like the people of America, are getting a little bit sick of this. Yeah. And Trump, you know, I mean, he's
pivoted.
He's probably he's much more in favour of Ukraine than he was before he worked out that maybe Putin isn't really a straight shooter you can deal with. But I still think Trump reflects the feelings of the American people that we shouldn't necessarily be giving this country in Eastern Europe billions of dollars and loads of weapons.
And look what's happened. You've got NATO. That's, I wouldn't say it's currently strong, but it's getting stronger. You know, if this 5% works out, now there's a lot of room between, you know, saying you're going to spend 5% of your GDP and actually doing it, especially when you have a series of welfare states here in Europe. So it's going to be hard to accomplish that. But at least, you know, you've got two more countries in NATO. You've got commitments to spend 5%. And, you know, that's a good thing. That's a stronger NATO than when Trump, you know, before Trump took office. So that should be a good thing. But, you know, he wants the responsibility to be on the Europeans.
Well, of course, Keir Starmer has made a firm commitment that by the year 2076 we'll be up to 3.5%.
But this is the thing.
I think it's not in the budget.
I think it's all been done. It's not gone quite to plan, but I do think that this was the kind of idea behind a lot of what the Americans have done, is to wake Europe up, to get them in the room, to realise that, you know, America's not going to keep cashing the checks, and more importantly, we have a major issue on our hands. It's happening. It's time that we woke up and started playing in the game.
No, I think he's done a great job getting
he really
Europe
has.
He really accepts its responsibility.
Because he reads the room. He knows the American taxpayer doesn't want to keep funding the free health care for Brits and 6-week holidays for Frenchmen. You know, it's like, why are we paying for that?
Yeah, but I think it comes from that business perspective of thinking 10, 20 years in the future, which, you know, most governments don't, because they're not that kind of person.
I'll tell you another thing about Frenchmen, French people, is they have like a 4 or 5 hour holiday every day. It's called lunch. I mean, I never worked out how France operates economically. Everyone in France, around about sort of 12:30 or so, 12:30 p.m, heads off for lunch, you know, and doesn't return till about 4:30. You know, they're about 14 courses, load of wine, and then back.
It's not exactly a picture of productivity.
I know.
But it's been essentially funded by the U.S. taxpayer. Because we defend those countries and we take care of their military and security, and then we pay for their trade surpluses.
You pay for the vanity projects.
I'll tell you
we have
something.
a $200 billion trade surplus with the EU.
Yeah, the French economy is one of the mysteries of the world. I think it's thought 34% of the population work for the government. So, you know, they're getting paid by the government, and they pay their taxes. That goes back to the government, and then they pay them. It's a washing machine
circular
washing machine economy.
Yeah.
Listen, let's go to break now, shall we? So we can have a good old chat about the Epstein files and some of the other problems beginning to engulf President Trump. So that next, stay tuned.
$10K cash for Coldplay.
Play 10K cash for Coldplay with 10 grand in your hand tax-free plus 6 super hot tickets to witness Coldplay's sold-out Music of the Spheres tour from a VIP box at Wembley Stadium on August 22nd.
Tickets, top tunes and 10 grand cash.
Don't panic. Enter to play 10K for Coldplay at talksport.com/win and get ready for the feel-good gig of the summer. 10K for Coldplay is a joint TalkSport Limited competition run on TalkSport, Talk and Virgin Radio. See talksport.com for terms and conditions.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. Still with the chairman of the Republican Overseas Organisation here in London. He's a tax exile these days, but he still gets back here for 90 days a year. That's courtesy of Keir Starmer, the man who kicked out men and women of substance, people who were paying big taxes here, and he made it impossible for them to carry on living here on a permanent basis. So we only get to see Greg 90 days a year these days. But it's good to have you here today,
Great
Greg.
to be back.
But we're looking at the pictures of Prestwick Airport up in Scotland. Big crowds surrounding. They look like friendly crowds. They don't look like protesters waiting for the president to touch down in Air Force One. We believe he will do that in about 20 minutes. If we're still on air, we get the chance, we'll show you the pictures. But as he touches down, perhaps he'll enjoy a little break from his mounting problems at home. And the biggest problem he's got is the Epstein files, isn't it? I mean, you know, he's all over the place on this. They are the government is all over the place on this. My feeling about this is, look, Donald Trump was clearly a friend of Epstein, hung around with him. So was Bill Clinton. So were lots of rich and powerful people. Epstein flew him around. Gave them good hospitality. The problem is what kind of hospitality did he give them? So it seems to me, Greg, that one of the things that Trump's trying to do is just trying to almost say, oh no, I wasn't a friend of his. Well, I think that's a bit silly to do that. That said, the other thing I think we need to discuss, Trump, he's been advised, you are on Epstein's list. He's been told he's on the list several times. That would be borne up by the many pictures and photos we've seen of them together.
It's not a secret. It's all
now, my question first off is, what is the list? I mean, being on a list or even a passenger manifest that proves you flew to Pedo Island, that doesn't mean to say you committed any crimes.
Right.
So what we do know is just a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, the Department of Justice and the FBI dropped the entire investigation into this. So my question to you is, was this a case of nothing to see here, or was it to cover up embarrassing truths about the president?
I think it was the former. Look, the president, if there was anything about...
Why doesn't he release the files then?
Because he doesn't want to embarrass people that are on the list. Not just himself.
Okay.
See, the fact that he's on it is old news. That's already been put out there. One of the flights he took, he had his wife and newborn child on the plane. I mean, there's nothing about Trump that's damning. And why do I know that? A, because it's been public for 4 years, but B, more importantly, if there was anything disparaging about Trump, the Biden administration would have leaked it or released it during the campaign, without a doubt.
Okay.
I mean, look what they tried to do to Trump. They indicted him 4 times. They raided his home. There's no chance they would have let this slide as a campaign, a campaign issue. And so, but the problem, it's not Trump's affiliation. The problem is he flipped on the transparency.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Without a doubt.
But
It's not one of his problems. It's his only problem right now.
Yeah,
is that?
But it's a big problem.
Yes, because he's got
the
people
MAGA,
in his
even the
own
MAGA
party,
mob are turning on him.
who are just, we're so sick of. There's no trust for the institutions, and here we go again. They campaigned on the fact that these institutions shouldn't be trusted. The CIA and the FBI were colluding with the Biden administration to censor information. They were talking social media companies into censoring stuff. It was really horrible in the Biden campaign and the Biden administration. So we want transparency, and Trump has delivered transparency on just about everything except this. And that's put him in an awkward position. I'm not suggesting he's right or wrong on this. Maybe there's good reason not to release these. Biden didn't release them, and they sat on them for 3 or 4 years. So maybe there's a legit reason.
I know why Biden didn't release them. Bill Clinton.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That is. But for me, it is that sense of betrayal that's now in the MAGA movement, because the podcasters have gone up in arms. You've got the tech bros have walked away. It is starting to fracture, because one thing I will always give Trump...
He's upset his fan base.
Yeah, it really has. But his fan base was put together of unlikely bedfellows, and he was very good at holding that together. It's starting to crack beyond repair at some points, and I think this was handled badly.
And you need every one of them.
Yes, you do.
Because, even though it was a comfortable victory in 2024, only 9 months ago, it was still 1.5%.
Yeah.
By the way, some kind of plane, a U.S. Air Force plane, has touched down. That is not Air Force One, is it? He's hitched a ride on something else. Maybe Air Force One is. Maybe there's another one coming. Oh, hang on a second.
Plane? No.
I think maybe that was the Escort.
Yeah.
There's another plane coming down now. What about? Ghislaine Maxwell has now been interviewed. What's going on there?
Not a lot of information came out of that. Just that it was, a good interview, or it was, productive or something. So not a lot of detail. I'm not sure why they did it. Maybe it was a distraction. That hey, we're on this. We're on the case. But I don't think I have this feeling that the only thing that's going to satisfy the MAGA wing is to release the files. Just be transparent. And if people are upset and people who are innocent get thrown, into some turmoil, Yeah, look, it's a tough world, and maybe that's his only real way out here, because
you know, Pat Bondi, you know, the Attorney General.
Pam Bondi, yeah.
Pam Bondi.
Yeah.
You know, she told Fox News live on air.
Yeah.
They said, "Well, you're going to release the files?" Yeah, oh, sure we are. And she said, "Well, where are the files?" "On my desk. I got a file here. Here they are. We're going to release them." And then they didn't.
Yeah,
the chronology.
I'm sure they wish they could do this whole thing over again.
Pretty much.
You know, just not make a big deal out of it. But they made a big deal out of it, and now people are
When you go
disappointed,
around saying institutions are lying to you, and then you do the same thing, what do you expect is going to happen?
Look at Tulsi Gabbard, you know, released some information last week that the media has ignored, of course, but you know, about the 2016 Russia collusion hoax, and it is new information. It's, I mean, it's.
By the way, sorry to interrupt. Here does come Air Force One.
Yeah.
It's in sight. So obviously, some kind of U.S. Air Force plane came first, escort plane or something. So here it comes. We can see it's about to touch down. But sorry, Greg, you were saying.
But with this Tulsi Gabbard thing, it's quite interesting because that will just be ignored by the MAGA lot because you've just lied to us once. So now you're just covering your own back. You're trying to distract us. It is one of these narratives that is going to spin out of control. Yeah. And yet it was all of their own making because you went around poking the bear and then the bear bit back.
And I mean, Elon Musk has been making the point, well, hang on a second, what I always found uncomfortable about this whole saga, I think we can all agree on this, that this was a scandal of men. This was men, you know, Clinton, potentially Trump, you know, a lot of these guys could be innocent. Prince Andrew,
Bill Gates,
and so on and so forth. And here it comes, it's landing, and hang on. He's in Scotland. He's touchdown. There he is. If he gets out of the plane, we'll bring you that as well. Yeah. Scandal of men, and the only person who went to jail was a woman.
I never thought of that. You know, that's really interesting.
It's uncomfortable, I think.
Wow. And, you know, I'd never put two and two together on that.
But, I mean, I'm wondering what tale she has to tell, because Elon Musk made the point, hang on a second, the FBI and the Department of Justice have said there's no case here, there's nothing to see here, you know, and yet she's in jail for what's supposed to be. So he said, well, what is Ghislaine Maxwell doing 20 years for then?
No, that's a great point. You know, and I never thought about that. Yeah. You know, scandal of men, and only one person. Really interesting point.
It's also a British woman as well, being persecuted by evil Americans.
There's a little scar tissue from 250 years ago.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I used to work for a dad, and. You know, the sins of the father are visited on the daughter, as far as I'm concerned, and he topped himself. He's committed suicide, and not a moment too soon, as far as I'm concerned. But seriously, she is an interesting element of this entire saga. Yeah.
I would think if she had any secrets to tell, she would have told them already.
Well, I'm wondering what happened during this day-long interview. And I think she's probably desperately trying to trade secrets.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, it's...
I got stuff, let me out.
Yeah. And maybe the right time to do that wasn't when she was being tried, because the public just really disliked her completely.
No, and she hadn't become a victim in the narrative yet. Yeah. Like now she might be, because, you know, the men covering up the scandal, it kind of writes itself, to be honest.
Yeah, so the other question here, you know, again, it's so shrouded in difficulties. If this was all innocent, why exactly did Prince Andrew pay Virginia Giuffre $12 million not to go to civil court? Yeah. You know, he said, oh no, I didn't do anything wrong. Well, what'd you give her $12 million for? It must have been a reason.
It's like the cover-up has just made this 10 times worse, even though there might not even needed to be a cover-up, but just...
Prince Andrew became... the royal family's answer to Michael Jackson, who kept paying people off as well, and then saying, no, I'm totally innocent. I just gave that guy $28 million just to get it out.
It's a nuisance fee.
It's what you do.
Well, as the plane taxis across the runway there, we will go to a break. When we come back, we'll take some calls. We'll all sit around here and chat to the audience, which will be great. So stick around, folks.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. We're going to take your calls in a little while. In just a few minutes, actually. So 03444991000. I'll read some of your messages out. I don't know if we've got any WhatsApp voice notes, but if we have, we'll read them out. But first, this is the big moment, drum roll. In about half an hour, as I say, it's my programme, What Just Happened. It's a smash hit. Do you know how many people watched it last week? 750,000.
And I wasn't on it.
Yeah, three quarters of a million people.
Wow.
I don't know where that came from. It's like kind of, we used to get about 300,000. It's sort of suddenly 750,000.
Amazing.
So, everybody, if you want to join the growing throng of fans of my show, here's a little clip of what's coming up at 9 o'clock. But you got to like Meghan? Does anyone out there? No, I didn't think so. But you know, Chloe said that she doesn't think they'll struggle financially. I'll tell you, they will. As ever, isn't bringing in anything.
No, they're unemployable now. I mean, there's only one thing for it, and that's Megflix, isn't it? She's got to make her own. And I mean, she could have shows like Harry's Doorbell Challenge, where he just goes around, rings people's doorbells, and if you answer with it, or they could maybe do some
Deliveroo, deliver who? Well, there's a sort of like intellectual debate going on there about Meghan. So that's Ash Gord, of course, Flash Ash, my regular, and dazzling debutante Chloe Dobbs. A little appearance from Kinsey Schofield, our friend in America, the big royal expert. So it's quite a show tonight. I hope you enjoy it. That's at 9 o'clock. As I said earlier, if you carry on watching, if you're watching now, you can carry on watching, of course. If you're listening on the radio, it's totally radio friendly. As of that, so that's 9 o'clock until 10 o'clock. And then as of about 9:30 tomorrow morning, you can watch it on YouTube anytime you like for the rest of all time. So I can't say fairer than that. Right, so Greg's still here, Pete's still here. We'll talk to the audience. Here come the calls. First of all, here's Ian, a new caller from Peterborough. Good to talk to you, Ian. What would you like to say?
Good evening, Kev. Great show.
Thank you.
Regarding the migrants in the hotels.
Yeah.
Back in 2015, the government spent 500 million building 7 new hospitals to cover COVID.
That's right, the Nightingale hospitals, yes.
Yeah, apparently I wasn't allowed to say that name. But anyway.
Really? Who said that? Who told you can't say that name?
Lady on the other end of the line.
Is that right?
But anyway, so only 3 of these hospitals were ever used. 4 are brand new, fully working, and they were only ever on standby. And I don't get why we've got all these facilities and yet the government are still giving contracts to people like Best Western. It's all under one roof. You know, there's the kitchens, there's obviously the bed space, there's the offices where they can be processed.
Great idea.
You can't let people just walk into this country and roam the streets.
And yet they do, Ian. That's our problem.
You know, and I know people that have rescued dogs from Romania and Bulgaria, and them dogs are in quarantine for God knows how long.
I know about that. I brought a dog back from America, 6 months. It cost a lot of money as well, I'll tell you that.
I know. I mean, that's 500 million pounds of taxpayers' money, and it just stands there empty.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think the same for the prisons. You know, we haven't got enough prisons, no space for the prisons. Our prisons are so full up there, letting dangerous convicts out, endangering the public. Why don't they start sort of, converting disused air bases, that kind of thing? As you say, when we thought the chips were down in the COVID crisis, we built 9 hospitals in 2 weeks. So why don't we do this for migrants? Why don't we do... Frankly, I'm not sure about that, actually. I don't know why we keep accommodating them. Why don't we stop them coming? That would be a better idea, wouldn't it?
The other alternative is to do what we did all them years ago and is invade the beaches of France again and do the job for us.
It always ends with war in France.
I could make a few phone calls and I could have 300 lads down there tomorrow.
Yeah. OK, all right. Well, you're on, Ian, because it's our national hobby. When in doubt, have a war with the French, because you're guaranteed to win, aren't you?
Well, they need to remember. Yeah. The rest of Europe needs to remember that Britain's never lost a war.
Yeah, has France. Meanwhile, has France ever won one? No, I don't think they have. But they have recognised Palestine as a state, so that's the good thing. Ian, great first call. Don't make it your last. Good to talk to you. Ian in Peterborough. You know that quarantine thing? Did I ever tell you when I was living in LA, we had to bring our little dog Stan back. It was Stan the girl. I don't know why we called it that. It cut her ticket.
Self-identified.
Yeah. We lived in West Hollywood. Gender identities are very fluid there. Actually, the locals used to say that. She says, "Oh, there's a girl called Stan." Oh, I love that. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Anyway, so we had to bring her back. It cost her ticket cost twice as much as me and Henrietta's put together. And I remember we had to take her to this cargo place and put her into in a cage and all that. And a guy came out, big cargo guy. He goes, "Oh, where you heading?" And I go, "London." He goes, "Oh, quarantine, huh?" And I go, "Yeah." He said, "What's your dog called?" I go, "Stan." He goes, "Stan's gonna do the time," but he didn't do no crime. That's quarantine for you.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say...
They stopped it, though, because when I moved here 10 years ago, and it was just a couple of hours.
Well, it was never logical.
Yeah.
Because if you could prove your dog didn't have rabies, we could prove our dog didn't have rabies, but in those days, it didn't matter. Yeah. It's an obsession with Britain. Britain has an obsession with it, and the reason that they didn't want to stop these very strict rules was because so many people were employed in the kennels. So for that, the dogs had to stay in prison.
I'm just going to say that to answer Ian's question as to why we don't do it is because they choose not to do it. Yeah. This is the way to fix this thing takes political will. They're choosing not to do it. That's what it is. It's really simple. The answer to that question.
That said, though, Pete, I think necessity. Keir Starmer, although constitutionally, personally, he'd like to let them all in, no questions asked, because as we're seeing, the nation is on the point of eruption. He really does now realise it's imperative they do something.
Yeah, but again, they're doing it because they're reacting to it, not because it's the right thing to do.
But if that
the motivation behind it.
I agree with that, but if it makes them do the right thing,
that's true.
That's good. However, it doesn't really do the right. Turn the damn boats around, for God's sake. Let's talk to Paul in Kent. Hello, Paul. You want to talk about the migrant hotels as well?
Yeah, well, a couple of years ago, I was... hello, Kevin, by the way. Sorry to be impolite like that.
That's all right.
But a couple of years ago, I was made homeless because I was in a relationship and it all went peak-tong. And I was homeless on the streets.
Right.
And my local council put me into a hotel and they went, "Go there." And I went, "All right, I'll go there."
Yeah.
And I went, and and then they put me into an emergency accommodation, in a private little flat.
Right.
Because I wasn't polite. It's the politest way of putting it.
All right.
And now I've been hit with a bill for 780 quid.
For that? That is outrageous, because these asylum seekers, these migrants, illegal migrants, they're not being charged a thing. And not only do they're just converting just down the road in Canary Wharf the £425 a night Britannia International. Next week that becomes an asylum seeker hotel. It's £425 quid a week a night last week. Next week free to the migrants. So they get these hotels free. They also get free food. They get free doctors and dentists. Doctors and dentists visit them twice a week, and of course they get free lawyers.
Yeah. Did you get a mobile phone from your council?
Did you get a mobile? Did you get a mobile?
Do you
know, Paul?
But I'll tell you one thing I did. I did get a free fry-up every morning, so I was cracking.
Well, that's one thing, a free fry-up.
Charitable.
Good British fry-up. Can't never say wrong for that.
That is a good thing. But I'll tell you, I talked to...
Listen, you get the bill for
check this out. Listen to this, Paul. I interviewed a guy called Luke Sharman, who worked at two asylum seeker hotels in Norfolk for 2 years, and he witnessed everything going on. He said that when the migrants turn up, most of them can't even speak English. They just come in off a small boat, illegally. They're shipped into these 4-star hotels, and he said they all have this massive problem, massive dilemma when they first walk into the foyer. They're offered a choice of an iPhone or a Samsung. Which one are they going to choose? Which one would you choose, Paul?
I prefer Samsung personally.
Me too. I'm with you on the Samsung, but somehow or other, call me nasty and call me controversial, but I don't think they should get free phones at our expense.
I personally don't either. I personally think the boat should be slashed on the beach or.
Turn them round, mate. Turn them round, Paul. Listen, mate, all good now with you, though? You all okay now?
Yeah, no, I am home, but I've just been handed a bill like a year later for a thing that
I think that's disgusting because these migrants never get handed a bill. Well, I hope you can handle it, Paul, and thanks very much for a great call. Paul in Kent there. Let's go to break, take some more calls when we come back.
$10K cash for Coldplay.
Play 10K cash for Coldplay with 10 grand in your hand tax-free plus 6 super hot tickets to witness Coldplay's sold-out Music of the Spheres tour from a VIP box at Wembley Stadium on August 22nd.
Tickets, top tunes and 10 grand cash.
Don't panic. Enter to play 10K for Coldplay at talksport.com/win and get ready for the feel-good gig of the summer. 10K for Coldplay is a joint TalkSport Limited competition run on TalkSport, Talk and Virgin Radio. See talksport.com for terms and conditions.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. Couple of messages, text messages. David in Worthing says, great show, Kevin. Thank you, David. Sadly, the police are forgetting it's the far left who want to defund the police. Most officers are good at what they do, but are losing the trust of the public fast. This government can't go quick enough. I agree with both of those points, David. Here's a question from Chris. Hi, Kevin. Please, can you tell me, if you are a politician, are you allowed to lie in Parliament? No, Chris, you're not, but it doesn't stop them. They do.
You also can't call someone a liar in Parliament.
No, I know you can't.
Yeah,
which is a shame, because they all are.
Yeah, the minute you do, you have to either retract it or you're kicked out of Parliament. Yeah.
I know.
Terminological in
they always go, all the traditions of Parliament are so fun. It's ridiculous.
Winston Churchill once got round it and he said someone suffered from terminological inexactitude.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's it. Well, yeah, it's economy with the truth.
Yeah.
Economy with the truth. Let's talk to Samantha in Derbyshire. Hello, Samantha.
Hello, my two lovelies.
Hello. Well, there's three of us. You got Pete Barnes and Greg Swenson is here as well. You want to talk about the doctors' strike? What would you like to say?
If you give me a little bit of time.
Of course.
When I first went into the NHS...
You were a nurse, right? Or you are a nurse?
I was a nurse.
Okay, yeah, go on.
Yeah, so when we first went into training, doctors and nurses worked together. And you had a matron, you had a consultant, and they looked after one another. You had your house officers, your senior house officers, you had your staff nurses, your senior staff nurses. 39 years I did in the NHS.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday on Mike Graham, a doctor, an elderly doctor, said that, doctors are striking because they're bullied by nurses. That's rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
So what did he say again? I missed that, Samantha. What did the old guy say?
If you look at Mike Graham yesterday...
Yeah, I got that bit. What did you say again?
He interviewed... I do apologise, I'm quite nervous.
Don't worry.
So I'll slow down. He interviewed a GP, and he was trying to sort of say that they're right in
what they do.
No, they're not.
Right.
Nurses have supported doctors, people like me. You get 3 doctors that come on to an acute unit, and I'm a specialist. I was a specialist nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get your doctor that comes in that's humble and wants to learn, and they look at people like myself to learn. You get a doctor that comes in that's absolutely terrified and needs nurturing.
Yep.
And then you've got a doctor that swaggers in without the white coat, because that's what it was in my day.
Yep.
And they think they can do everything. And the thing is, the NHS is broken.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm part of that NHS, and I was. And what people don't realise is it's not the fact of the quality of care. It's not the fact that, there's not enough of us to go around. It's the fact that they're blaming the elderly. It's not the elderly. Thank God people are leaving longer because we're doing something right.
Yeah.
But it's like...
what do you think? Doctors, I don't think hospital doctors, should go on strike. I think if they're going to keep abusing their right to strike like this, we've got to ban them. Because people, you all know this, Samantha, people die if doctors aren't in hospital, obviously.
No, it's not about that people die.
I think it is, Samantha. It is at the heart of the issue. When thousands of doctors walk out of hospitals, patients die. These strikers are effectively killing patients. That is the nature of this walkout.
If it's okay with you?
Yeah, of course.
They go into med school for 4 years. They become qualified doctors. Then they made nurses. You've got to go do a degree, which is 3 years. If you wanted, I've been there, done it.
What is your point, though? What are you trying to say?
Okay, so when doctors don't come in, it's the nurses that have gone back to university, that have gone to become acute specialists in ITU, A&E, and everything else. Support the doctors.
But that doesn't detract, Samantha, from the fact that when doctors, thousands of doctors, are standing on picket lines and not working in the hospital, looking after their patients, some of those patients die.
Yeah, you're right.
That's my point. That's all I'm saying. And that is why I think this is unconscionable. It's unforgivable what they're doing. And I'm sure, as a former nurse, with a kind of it's in your DNA to care for patients. It should be in those doctors' DNA as well, and yet it's not.
Yes, you're right. And we all come out, nurses and doctors, physios, all come out with degrees that they have to pay for, and I know some are worse than others. But the reason I rang in was to say, yesterday on Mike Graham, a GP said that doctors are bullied. They're not.
They're not bullies.
Absolutely not.
They're not bullies, but the ones who are on strike are... Well, last night I had a guest, I had a doctor, my friend Renee Hunderkamp. She's a GP. She said these strikers are evil. That's what she said.
They are.
Yeah, that's what... Yeah, well, I agree. Look, Samantha, it's good to talk to you because you know what the NHS is like, but we agree on that. This strike should not be happening and patients will suffer and will die. Listen, Samantha, it's good to talk. I've got to move on because the show's nearly over. I've got to take a couple of other calls, but it's good to talk to you. Why don't you ring again anytime you like? Let's go to Jason in Sheffield. Hi, Jason.
All right, Kev.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. What I want to say is there anything in this country what you can't do or illegally what you get away with? You can shop.
Oh, yeah, you mean, lawless Britain, yeah. No, well, the answer to your question, you can do anything now.
Smoke weed, yeah, you can smoke weed, you can do it. The only thing you get busted for in this country is going 35 and a 30.
That's true. But if you want the police to treat you, like a king, if you want the police to treat you brilliantly in future, Jason, take my advice. Put a mask on, get a placard that says, refugees welcome, stand up to racism. Then they'll drive you around, they'll escort you, they'll pick you up. They love you. They love you. But don't tell them that you might be right-wing, because then they'll arrest you and then Starmer will throw you into prison for about 5 years. Welcome to modern Britain. Great, isn't it?
And I won't tell them you told me to do that either.
Yeah, well, you better not. You better not. Hey, listen, Jason, got to move on. Great to talk to you as always. Thanks, mate. Jason in Sheffield. Gordon, new caller in Slough. Hello, Gordon. What would you like to say?
Good evening to you. Thank you for taking my call, Kevin.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much indeed. I would just like to say that it occurs to me, first of all, to say welcome to POTUS, welcome to Donald Trump to the UK, certainly on my behalf, but I can't speak for the whole nation, but I'm sure there are very many people who...
I agree with you. He's a friend of this nation, and we should afford him a polite and enthusiastic welcome, except there will be protesters up in Scotland who will rudely demonstrate against him.
My biggest concern is that is a misrepresentation of what the people of this nation actually want for at this point in time. And what I would suggest is we've now got this ugly political disparity between ourselves and the United States.
Yes.
Whereby you've got Trump in power in the States. What we want is something that is equal to that here in the UK. And we are frustrated as a nation because we haven't got that yet.
Listen, Gordon, I absolutely agree with you. It's interesting, this we're like parallel universes politically, and yet there is this sort of relationship between Trump and Starmer. But I'm with Greg Swenson from the Republican Overseas organisation. He's, I would say, a supporter of Trump. Yeah. So your thoughts?
I think there's a little bit of Trump envy or American envy here. When he won the election, I was getting stopped on the street. People were saying, "I wish we could do that here."
Envy. We were sort of furious with envy. Why can't we have Trump?
Well, that's exactly it. Why can't we stop the boats or stop the illegal migration? He did it without new legislation, without money. He just enforced the law. Because that's what the executive branch does.
He said something and he did it. And we've had it radical in this country.
Hey, Gordon, I tell you what, the moment I liked, and I know Greg and Pete will agree with me, the moment I loved, I mean, it was amazing the way he cancelled wokery with one speech. With one speech. There is no more wokery in America. We could do with that, couldn't we, Gordon? Do you like wokery, do you?
No. Well, wokery has its place for those that believe in it. I personally don't. What I would say to you is this, though, is I think we would be better off as a nation if we were in sync with the United States.
And we are going to struggle with that, Greg. I mean, I would call the relationship between Starmer and Trump kind of uneasy. You can sense, Trump, you know what Trump's like, hail fellow, well met, but you can sense that Starmer is, kind of swallowing his pride with every new sentence he speaks to Trump.
Because he wants to be polite and he wants to get along.
And he wants Britain to...
There's defense and security issues, there's trade issues, but you know what he's not going to do. He's not going to deregulate. He's not going to get rid of wokeness and diversity, equity, and inclusion. He's not going to he's not going to lower taxes. So he can't ideologically, he can't do what Trump is doing.
Yeah,
what Trump is
also-
doing is great for the country and the people.
It's also that Starmer is denying that there is a fork in the road for the nation, that it is either the American way or the European Union. Starmer is heading towards the European Union. We all know he's going to do it, and it is the wrong decision to make.
Yeah, I'll leave you with one thought, Gordon. America innovates, China imitates, and Europe regulates. And Starmer is very much in the regulation camp. That's the problem. He's a regulator. He's a Euro technocrat, and Donald Trump is very much not that. But you're right. It would be nice if we could be more in harmony. But at least we're making the effort to be friendly, which is something. Gordon, new caller, don't make it your last. That was really good. Please call me back. Gordon in Slough there. I think, we did have a call there, but it's gone. Let's see if we've got any messages. So, yeah. Modi, the bandit man, a regular texter, said to me, it's not the doctors that are the problem, it's the government and policy. I agree with the latter, but I do think the doctors are a problem.
It's the radicalisation of the BMA, that they used these institutions to push an agenda. They don't really care about the NHS, they just want to push their politics, and that's what they do.
Yeah. It's not... Medicine has become secondary.
Yeah, they don't care about the medicine bit. The patients are rather...
Palestine, they care about net zero.
Oh, God, yeah.
And that's what happens with all these big institutions.
One of the
They get
trusts,
corrupted.
just for the Guy's Hospital right here, they want to get rid of the name because he's associated with slavery. That was the primary focus of a meeting that they had.
I like this, by the way, this is apropos of nothing, but we've got a competition going at the moment. You can win some tickets to a Coldplay concert. This is from Martin in Aberdeenshire. He says, I can't find... Can you confirm that if I win the Coldplay tickets, you will indemnify me against divorce, legal action, if shown on Kiss Cam?